Hi guys, we're back in this house of horrors. I want to discuss some of the, insults and harassment I've been getting on YouTube. People have been barraging me with comments along the lines of, oh my god, you're so stupid, you're so bad at puzzles, it's so obvious, and so on. And I thought I would take this chance to return the favour somewhat. Right. Here's what I would start off this little discussion with. When you find yourself beginning your argument with, it's obvious, take stock, step back, because you may be being a bit of a muppet. Now, I am the first to admit that I really do not like things like lockpicking and all these mini-games, and therefore I'm not good at them. You're never good at anything you hate. Don't like them, not at all. I'll even admit that I can be completely absent-minded and distracted. However, when people say, you are stupid, or you are, you're terrible at puzzles, because it's a puzzle they managed to crack quickly, I take issue. And I have a couple of reasons for it. The first one is just simply about the whole nature of what is and what is not obvious. So, for example, the problem at hand here is you walk in here expecting to find a terminal, expecting to find a failsafe, and you're faced with objects that are clickable and play a tune. It is obvious to me immediately that these objects are some kind of code, some kind of puzzle. You need to crack the code to get to the failsafe. This is obvious to me because I've played this sort of game before, and there's nothing else in Fallout. Fallout 3 does not have musical gnomes. Therefore, this must be special. It's obvious to me. Someone who's not played Fallout 3 before might not find that obvious. And what you're going to say now is, but you've played Fallout 3 before, and therefore this should be obvious. And what was obvious to everyone was apparently, if you click this, you'll hear a tone and then a beep. Tone and a beep. And people were saying, didn't you hear the beep? Yes. Didn't you realise it meant you'd picked the wrong thing? No. I simply thought that was an activation sound. You see, the beep isn't what I missed. What I missed was, when you get it right, there's no beep. I missed that. And no matter how many times I did it, I didn't register. It never occurred to me. Human beings, when faced with such a scenario, tend to quickly come up with potential solutions. They come up with theories. And once they've come up with a theory, they will generally look for evidence for said theory, and anything they find that backs that theory up, they will notice. Anything that does not, they will either ignore or may even not notice. It's called confirmation bias. If you walk in this room and go, okay, there's a sound and there's a beep. Is the beep important? Is that last beep important? Then you might go, okay, that's beeping too. But that one isn't. And it might be obvious to you that there's a difference. That is if that is what you think when faced with a puzzle like this, then it would be obvious to you. However, here's what I see when I walk through a door and I see a puzzle that demands a code, so to speak. I see something very similar to a computer or an ATM, where I need a PIN code, and I have to get the PIN code right to gain access. I see the same sort of thing you would have on your phone to unlock it. You unlock your phone, you have a PIN code. And what I'm expecting is that unless I know the PIN code, I will not be able to open it. That is my theory, my assumption. My assumption is when I look at this, that I need to find the code. I assume that I need to find a piece of paper, say the code is blah blah blah, or a book with hints, and so on. And in fact, in the end, if you remember, I suddenly thought, oh, maybe it's the birds. And then eventually I realised the code was her. To me, she is my Rosetta Stone. Those of you who don't know what a Rosetta Stone is, there was a time when we could not decode ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. And then we found something called the Rosetta Stone, which is a stone tablet that contained ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs and other languages that we already knew. This allowed us to know exactly what those hieroglyphs said, and from there we could translate hieroglyphs from then on. We essentially had found the key to the code. And that is what I was looking for. I was looking for her whistle. Now, I will admit that even once I found it, it then took me too long, but that's not because I lack intelligence, it's because I lack musical ability. I'm afraid I am about as musical as a constipated baboon. You know, what's the Fred Astaire thing? Can't act, can't sing, can dance a little. Very much me. So, I actually guessed correctly. It was the tune she was humming. I just couldn't hum it correctly. So yeah, I freely admit, don't possess musical ability. So that is how my brain worked. I have never yet come across a security system that tells me what the code is as I type it in, because that is what this does. You click, oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. Type thing. Actually, that's wrong, wasn't it? I click this, then this, and then it was this. And then if I click something else, I click this again. Oh no, that was wrong. So now I know it's something like that. And so on. There is no ATM machine where you press a 1 and it goes, nah, not that one. Then you press 2 and it goes, try again. Because that would be useless. If your phone did that, it would be useless. If you came across a safe that as you were turning the dial left, once you got to the right point, it went, yeah, you got it. No. You type the entire code in, and it either works or it fails. And of course, security systems have things where if you try the code too many times, you will fail. So when I come in, I see a security system, and I assume it's a clever security system. I do not assume it's an unbelievably stupid security system. And I put it to you that this security system with those beeps is incredibly stupid. If you designed a security system like that, you would be fired. Now, I'm not saying you are stupid if you came in here and your first thought was to try such a trick. What it probably means is you've played enough of these games that you know game manufacturers tend to put stupid puzzles in, puzzles that don't necessarily relate to the outside world, and you just, you know, you game the system. You basically treat it as an abstract puzzle rather than an immersive one. And that's fine. There's no, that doesn't mean you're not intelligent. It means you're not as immersed as me. Because if you are immersed and you come in and figure the code that way, here's what I would do. If I somehow, for some reason, did guess that it was a stupid code, I would have been furious. I would have been utterly furious to solve the problem that way, because it's insane, because it's the dumbest security system on the planet. Another way of talking about it is a Hollywood hack. If you ever watch a movie and you watch the hackers, you've got to hack into the NSA database right now, and they sit down and they start typing furiously. All these characters appear, and they watch the characters, and they look really intense, like they're playing a computer game. And 30 seconds later, they've got the password, and boom, they're in. Because that's complete horse manure. Just in case you didn't know, you don't hack systems like that. You hack systems, well, there are some technological ways you can hack systems, I agree, but if you're sitting down at a keyboard with just your own hands and brain, you better know the code. You better know the username and you better know the password before you sat down. The way you hack systems like that is to research, crawl through people's bins, find out their security numbers, find out their birthday, see if they've sellotaped it to the bottom of a mug somewhere, that type of thing. You're looking for the Rosetta Stone. That is how my brain works, and that is what was obvious to me. When I walked in, it was obvious I needed to find the Rosetta Stone. And I put it to you, they did in fact have a Rosetta Stone in the game, and I found it and solved the puzzle. What was obvious to others was you click it until the beep stops, because you game the system. And it's what I call a crowbar. And the reason I call it a crowbar is you are not solving the lock. You've not solved the combination lock. You've just crowbarred it open. And I think the game companies add things like this because they're worried that their audience will not do what is required to find the code. That the audience will, after about 5 minutes of trying to figure out what it is, start going mental and or Google it. And here's the thing, they're probably right. And so, when solving problems like this, I probably should stop trying to think of it as real life. I probably should stop thinking of this as something that's going to make sense. And I should start assuming that the security puzzle may well be monumentally stupid. It would probably help me solve these puzzles a lot faster. It might then become obvious to me. But I would not be having fun because I wouldn't be immersed in the game. I would be gaming the system. Which is fine when I'm playing Left 4 Dead 2 or some other game where my intent is to win. But my intent here is not to win. It is to immerse myself and enjoy myself and have fun. And if you do find yourself saying things like, but it's so obvious, take a deep breath. Think twice. You may be making a complete ass of yourself. Or at least, that seems pretty obvious to me.
I don't want to set the world on fire.